Hello there, everybody. This is Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space. And today I'm just introducing my reading and eating like ATEEZ vlog. And as you might have seen in the intro, I made some chamomile tea. It's kind of been rainy here. We're having an intense rainstorm right now. And I can't really drink caffeine, so I saw that Jongho posted on Universe a while ago that he got a chamomile tea. I filmed some stuff previous to this introduction that I want to include, so I can't wait for this journey. ATEEZ is my newest alt K-pop group. I just am listening to them all the time and I love them. They just released Halazia and it's just on repeat in my head, especially Jongho's part and Yeosang's deep voice. Amazing, right? Okay, on to the video. Hello there, guys. It is December 6th. We're about to go to In-N-Out, which I have not been to in years, but I wanted to start off this vlog of eating and reading like ATEEZ with In-N-Out because I know that they love In-N-Out. So we'll see what I end up ordering. It probably won't be what they normally order. I know on one of Jungwoo's one-day vlog in California anyways, he got like the double burger. This is part of why we don't usually go to In-N-Out because it's so busy here. There's a nice sunset happening, at least.
Would you like onions?
She wants both animal style.
Perfect.
$10.82 at the first window, please.
Thank you. Here we go. I got the burger and the fries animal style. I know Jongho is a Pepsi fan, so I'll have some chamomile tea when I get home because I know he'll drink that sometimes. So I didn't know animal style was like nacho cheese.
It's not nacho cheese.
What is it?
It's melted, same cheese you get on your burger.
Oh. American cheese.
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully that won't fall. I really like the burger. That's good. I'm not really a big fan of the fries, but the burger is really good. Hey guys, I'm in the car again because we just went to the library and look what I got. It's my first pick for this video. It's I Wanted to Eat Your Pancreas, the complete manga collection by Yoru Sumino, and this was a pick that Mingi chose. He really loves this author. Here we go. The roads are so flooded. We cannot handle this much water all at once. Hello there, guys. It is now January 6th. The new year, yay. So this vlog might end up taking a while, so you'll probably be with me for several months, but I did finish I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, the complete manga collection. The story was by Yoru Sumino and the art was by Idumi Kirihara. I don't really know how you pronounce Japanese at all. I've only really studied Korean so far as the Asian languages, but this was lovely. And I feel like we're really getting a peek into Mingi's character by reading this. I'm just so surprised by this choice. So the back of it says it's a bittersweet romance. And I definitely wouldn't have been like, yeah, Mingi's gonna go read a romance. That's not what I expected at all. And I don't know that I would really describe this even as a romance. It's not as dramatic as you might expect from like a romantic drama. It's more about life and how you live it and what's important to you. I really enjoyed reading this. There's a BuzzFeed article where it was mentioned that Mingi had mentioned reading this, but there's also a couple other things by this author on there. This is about a friendship between a girl who really values humans and relationships with humans and a boy who does not really care. He's not really interested in people. And I really felt like this was such an interesting choice for Mingi because I felt like he is like the boy in this story in the sense that this boy is very I and Mingi is very I as far as the MBTI test, the personality test that's very popular in Korea right now, that is how people will relate to each other and try to learn about each other psychologically is through the MBTI test. So I is for, actually I didn't mean to say I is introvert, which this boy is, and I believe also that Mingi is also an I, but T, I think the boy in this story is T, which is thinking, whereas the rest of Mingi is T and the rest of ATEEZ are F. And so there have been stories that they've mentioned on the Universe app where their personality differences between the T and the Fs is very clear and strong, and it has caused miscommunications between them. So I thought this was very interesting because the girl, I think, really comes off as an F, and the guy really comes off as a T. And so I just thought that was interesting. And this is really about human connections and how we connect, and if we connect, why we connect, who we might choose to connect with. And it just makes me think that maybe Mingi is really reading in order to feel a connection to humans, and maybe even to better his connections with humans, including his members. There was a particular quote that really gave me Mingi vibes in here that the boy says. So really this story is about a boy who is at a hospital and he sees a book lying on the seat in the hospital, and he goes and picks it up, and it's called Living with Dying, and it turns out to be a diary of a girl who is dying of a pancreatic disease, and the doctors have given her like a year or less that she's going to live. And then the girl walks up to him, and it's actually a schoolmate of his, and she's like, "You read it, didn't you?" And he was like, like not really ready for a really emotional conversation about dying with somebody he barely knows. But she's actually glad that he's read that, because she's really had trouble telling anyone. She hasn't told anyone that she's going to be dying. Nobody knows that she's terminal except her family, and now this boy from her school who picked up a book. And so she really glams onto him and decides she wants to enrich his life, and she wants him to enrich her life. She wants a relationship like this before she dies. And so they become friends. And so she really is always working on him to get him out of his shell, but not like he's a project that really needs to be changed. She actually, as we find out in the end, really appreciates who he is and wants to be more like him. She views him as like an island, and he's like very happy just being himself. And she's like, I really want to be like that because I'm the opposite. What she says is, I'd say living is about sharing soul deep connections with people. So that's what she thinks is the most important for her. Whereas for him, this very much sounded like Mingi, where he says, on a fundamental level, people are only interested in themselves. That's what it comes down to. There are exceptions, obviously. Even I get a little bit interested in people like you with special circumstances. And this just screamed Mingi to me, because in that universe conversation with his members, when they were talking about T versus F, they were talking about different hypothetical situations and how they all reacted to it, and how that revealed if they were T or F. And one of the hypothetical situations was, if Woo-young comes up to Mingi and is like, I'm just so excited, I'm proud of myself, I accomplished something big, so I went out and bought an Xbox to celebrate my accomplishment. Most of the members would have been like, oh, that's so great. You must be so proud of yourself. Congratulations. I hope you're enjoying your new purchase. And Mingi was like, how much was the Xbox? So that just cracked me up, and that is instantly what I thought of when I read, even I get a little bit interested in people like you with special circumstances. I felt like this really helped me get to know Mingi better, which I loved, because I'm still getting to know him. And I think Mingi does think deeply and emotionally about things, and that shows in his book choices by this author. I tend to think of rappers as very intellectual, very talented with songwriting, good leadership qualities, and those kinds of things. And I think that's because RM from BTS was the first rapper that I ever just really loved, all his work and his personality. And reading RM's book list was most of them were very cerebral. Some of his actual Korean choices were actually very emotional reads, but a lot of the translated classics that he was reading and translated books he was reading were very cerebral. And so that's kind of what I was maybe expecting of Mingi, especially because he's a T and he's a rapper. And an I was expecting something really cerebral. So to see that he's reading emotional books like this, I just really feel like that showed his heart and his hunger for relational growth. Mingi, we love you. You are awesome, and I can't wait to read more from you. So next, I'm going to try a different book that is actually a Hongjoong pick, and it's actually a thriller. So when I first saw that they were reading manga and thriller, I was like a little bit disappointed, because I'm always like wanting to read classics and Korean things and stuff like that. I think I was being a very, very snobby by worrying about that, because this manga I just really enjoyed reading this and connecting it with Mingi. and knowing that he loved it so much. So the thriller that I was talking about is going to be one of Hong Joong's picks, and that is a book by Guillaume Musso, who's a French novelist, and I don't know how you pronounce that, I'm sorry. But I couldn't actually find the specific book that Hong Joong was reading. It was not available to me, so I got a different one called The Reunion. The one he read was A Mix Up in Heaven, which actually I really loved the sound of. That sounded amazing, but that's okay. We're gonna go with The Reunion, and I'm excited to see what is going on in Hong Joong's head. I'll talk to you soon. Hi there, editor Christy checking in. I just wanted to let you know that I did try The Reunion, and I got to about 30% through, and I just really wasn't enjoying it. It's not about the kinds of things that I care about, and I really wish that I could have read the actual book that Hong Joong read and recommended, because that one sounded way more up my alley. But unfortunately, his other thrillers just really didn't seem, they seemed a little more commercial, and I generally don't read commercial thrillers too much. But I wish that I could get my hands on another book by him, because I think it's interesting. Hong Joong really seems to like French authors, and that is sending me down the rabbit hole. I definitely need to check out more French authors, because there's another book that he recommended by Bernard Werber, and I enjoyed a different book by Bernard Werber, which I'll be talking about in a minute. But I just wanted to let you know kind of what happened with The Reunion. It just wasn't for me, unfortunately. Hello there, guys. I am just about to go get some frozen yogurt, and I'm gonna get mine with fruit, of course, because that is what the ATEEZ boys recommended in their, I forget which universe type of video it was. Hong Joong talked about getting frozen yogurt with fruit as a meal replacement when he wasn't feeling like eating real food. I'm down for that. So I ended up getting the cake batter flavor and the blue raspberry flavor with some mango boba, some chocolate chips, some mango, blueberries, and bananas. I normally eat quite a lot of fruit on a regular day, so I don't normally, go to a frozen yogurt place and get more fruit, but I'm intrigued to try it. I've literally never tried fruit on frozen yogurt. Here we go. The flavors actually mesh really well. Maybe this is the only way Hong Joong will actually eat fruit. Hey guys, okay, I'm finally here with an update, because it's probably been months since I've talked to you for real, but I finally finished Empire of the Ants by Bernard Werber, and I read this because Hong Joong he'd been seen reading Papillon by Bernard Werber, and that one was not available unless I can read in Russian, which I can't quite do yet. I'm planning to work on it again after I get to like an intermediate level of Korean. But regardless, I did really enjoy this. It took me a really long time to read because there was no audiobook, and because I feel like I didn't really connect with any of the characters or the ants or anything. But on an emotional level, but on an intellectual level, this was fascinating. So basically it's a mystery thriller, and you're following two ant civilizations who are trying to kind of discover the source of this mysterious threat. They don't know who is killing ants. Basically, there's a secret weapon that's been killing ants, just decimating them. And they don't know how it's happening or why it's happening or who is doing it. So you spend most of the novel with these ants kind of dealing with the treacherous terrain of an ant's life, dealing with all the dangers that ants deal with, all the predators out there, spiders and birds and just all kinds of predators. And that was fascinating. That was very thrillery. And there is kind of like a secret agent type plot happening with the ants. And so that was all really interesting. And it talked a lot about like philosophy and governing, the ant societies and like the mating rituals. And it was really interesting in all of those ways. And then there was a human plot line, and it kept driving me crazy how he kept going in between the human and ant plot lines. That was not my favorite. I honestly could have just done without the human plot line, but I understand that was part of his point of the book. So you see the human here, amidst all the ants. So he is not saying that humans and ants are alike, but he's saying that they are the two most important civilizations on this planet, is one of the things that he is positing in this book. And he does not hesitate to draw their differences. They are clearly very different, and he emphasizes that very much. Like, for example, the ants are constantly cannibalizing each other, which is like, okay, that's definitely not acceptable behavior among humans, right? In the human storyline, we're basically following a family who has moved into a house, and they are told, do not go in the cellar. The previous owner left them dire warnings. The previous owner is gone. He's dead. And he has left them dire warnings to never go into the cellar. And of course, they end up having to go into the cellar. Their dog runs down there and doesn't ever come back out. And so the son of the family is like, please go get my dog, Dad. So the dad goes down, and then the basement swallows him. The mom does the same thing, and it becomes a whole thing. The whole town is aware of it. It becomes a news item. The cellar that swallows people. And so I was desperate to find out what was going to happen with all this, and really enjoyed that. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'm next planning to watch a show that San recommended. It's been kind of hard to get a hold of ATEEZ's recommendations, unfortunately, but doing my best. So the show that I want to watch from San is Physical 100. It's 9 episodes. I don't know if I'll watch them all, but I'll definitely give it a shot, and I'll let you know how it goes.
독일 시간으로 3, 4시쯤에 이제 온다고.
Hello there, guys. It's been a couple more days. It's now April 3rd, and I think I'm about to end this vlog. I feel like I haven't really actually read that much for this project, but it's just been a real difficulty to try and get a hold of books that ATEEZ has potentially read or recommended. But I did get my hands on Her Mother's Daughter by Marilyn, which is a feminist novel about a family of women that are starting with a Polish immigrant mother, and it kind of works its way down the line. I think this cover is really cool because it shows all the different profiles of the women in the family and how they've changed over the years. And really, that's what this is, I think. Honestly, though, I didn't really read this. I sort of tried because there's this adorable picture of Jongho holding it upside down and he posts like an upside down smiley face on Instagram. It's the most adorable thing. And I thought, oh, he's holding a book. I'll get it. And it's like, I think in 80s. I think it was published in the 80s. I saw how big it was, for one thing. I'm not really a fan of giant books because my unpopular opinion is that they usually need tons of editing, and that's why they're so big. Most books do not need to be this big, and looking at the reviews, that is apparently what people are saying about it. It's really too big, it's not edited that well, and it's depressing, and also, I just don't get the feeling that I'm going to agree with her on very much. So I'm kind of skipping Her Mother's Daughter. Sorry, Jongho. I don't know if you've actually read it or if you were just holding it up for a picture because you're adorable. But I also gave Physical 100 a try, which is a show that San was enjoying, and I can totally see why San would enjoy this. I watched my first dating show that I ever watched was Ramen and Chill on this YouTube channel. And on that show, there was people talking about bodybuilding and how it's actually like a sport and you sculpt your body with like certain methods. And it was really interesting. And I thought this is a show for that kind of person who's really into like bodybuilding and sculpting. And I think that San is into that. If you look at his body, he's put a lot of effort and work into shaping and molding his body into a work of art. Like, he could rival David, I'm telling you. I just think Physical 100 is not really the show for me, but I can see why San would love it. And it was fun to kind of get closer to him a little bit by watching one of his shows that he was enjoying. And I also started a show that Mingy may have watched, because if you have been following Mingy, sorry, I'm getting painful. I'm starting to be in pain here. I need to like wrap this up. If you have followed Mingy's hairstyles in the recent days, his hairstyles have been really matching popular anime characters. And he recently did this flame colored hair, like I think it was for Gorilla Era, and it was amazing. And I found out what show that is from. I think it's Rengoku, a character from the popular anime Demon Slayer. So I started watching Demon Slayer and I am so intrigued right now, guys. I've never watched much anime, but we'll see. I might really end up enjoying this. So Demon Slayer is set in this world where demons can attack you and turn you into a demon if you are exposed to their blood. And so there's a boy who lives in a mountain village and he makes his way down to a town to make some money for his family. And then when he comes back, he sees that his family has been attacked and mostly killed by a demon. And he sees that his younger sister is actually still alive. So he carries her on his back and he's gonna take her to the town to see if he can get healing for her, and it turns out that she has actually been turned into a demon. And so that's where I am, and I'm like, wow, okay, I'm really moved by this story, and I'm excited to watch some more. And I think because it's anime, it's not too bloody for me. I know that there are some animes that are really gory, like Attack on Titan is really gory, but I do want to try out some anime because I'm thinking Japanese is going to be the next language that I learn in. I start learning after working on Korean, which 한국어를 너무 좋아해요. 일본어? 글쎄요. That is it, guys. I hope that you really enjoyed this vlog of reading and eating and also apparently viewing like ATEEZ. It was really a blast for me. And if you are a tinny, please give me a shout out in the comments and let me know who your bias is. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.